Okay, I just, I think you, wrong down here.
I'm gonna turn you blue, baby.
Oh, I was thinking of something in this song. When you have the breaks, what would it be if you didn't hit the scratch on that to just really make it a break? I think it would be...
Just play on the drum, straight through.
Yeah.
A big drum.
No, or when it's a break, you just, do, da. Then you get like complete silence and air. Not every time, but at some
Right,
point.
I'm not 100% with it.
So it's on the stop of that.
Just hit the snare. Do, 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 da. It will be like more effect instead of having a crash every time.
Yeah.
You could do like a slam. Do, da, do, 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 blah.
Yeah. We kind of done that type of thing on Black Sheep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where we end it with a sudden ending,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So
But
on those
it
little
could be,
turnarounds.
yeah, da, do, 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 do. Like a slam,
Thick air. Thick air,
I
right?
can try it.
Yeah.
I think it would be more definition for those breaks in this song.
Yeah. So
Just a thought. It's good as it is, but it's just an idea.
yeah, I like thick air.
Then you will get the dynamic also because it's so much things happening all the time.
Mm.
And then when you get like,
Yeah.
and then
Off we
maybe,
go again.
yeah,
Yeah.
could be. Try.
Work on it in the studio.
If you want to do it, it's just for fun.
Write down snake bite and your
Do you have an extra song list?
continue one.
No, but I mean to write on.
I can write on this one.
No, but input's good. That's why you're here, Wolf. Huh? Input. You know, because sometimes to the outside looking in, you get a different perspective of things.
So I'm just thinking about small details to make the.
So it's a stop on the turnaround. Yeah.
Instead of a cymbal, you just have like a flam on the snare, or just
Yeah.
okay, go. Then you
A bit like,
yeah. So
𝗥𝗢𝗓𝗏 ending.
Yeah.
Let's do 𝗥𝗢𝗓𝗏. And then you see
The
the
next song is 𝗥𝗢𝗓𝗏.
is it?
Yeah. And it's Black Sheep that has
Black sheep,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's just the very ending of it, not.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it could be an effect. Doesn't have to be all the time, but maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I'm happy to add in anything that makes sense. But remember.
I'll write it down.
Right.
So, 𝗥𝗢𝗓𝗏.
Different ending again. We've not done that ending before. There we go. Done with the man. Add that to the other 25 ends.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Sorry, man, that's what was wrong there.
Ah, you gotta turn this on.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
I had a little idea, but
Try that, Clay.
I got the signal there, Nathan, that you were
Can you hear me better than that, Clay?
That's better,
There you go.
that's better.
I had a little idea for this because it has such a sweet chord progression.
Anyway, Nathan, John, I'm going to go for it.
Okay, mate, you enjoy.
Try to wake up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll join you, it's pretty hot up here.
Can you play the verse for this one again?
Don't worry.
The song
What
is
verse?
What do you think about? I'm thinking because you get into the chorus and gets powerful. What would it be if like the verses are more naked, like and not so distorted guitar, like
Oh, yeah, sure.
on these parts, like when you sing, and then when the chorus comes, full drums and distortion, and when it gets back to the verse again, it just drops because now it has.
It gives it a different dynamic.
It has the same energy now, and this song feels like it could go down with less feels and just, you know. And make that, you know, like this less distortion, and like. Then the vocals will come in, and before you go to F or whatever, like. Then you come in with a big fill, and then it's like. And then when the verse comes. Just a thought, because then you get this dynamics, and I think this song would come alive even more.
Yeah.
And then when we go to the chorus, it's just like full on, right?
Yeah.
So for the verses, it would be like, could be as simple as. Maybe rim shot or something, but I think, and then like full on, and when the verse, yeah, full on, and then when you have done the chorus, you go back and. Not so powerful then, and then for verse number 3.
And what I'll stay off the drums and just keep on hi-hat.
Oh, keep it higher and maybe just very simple. And then into the chorus, we do the like the feel.
We'll keep it basic on
that.
Maybe, but only for the 2 first verses. Then you come to verse number 3. Then just play like you do now. I think. I think the song will like, you know.
build
and
it,
go down
build
and
it to the end, get the crescendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because of that, and then for the chorus, you hit the distortion again.
Okay.
It makes it, yeah.
Do I hit the distortion on all the choruses or just the last one?
No, all the choruses,
Okay.
because you give the power, right? And then the drums are like full on,
Yeah.
not like now.
Yeah.
But just for the 2 first verses, I think. So you get this like 4 on the floor.
Is it going to be full enough?
What?
Is it going to be full enough?
At the end,
I think so. I think when you get, because otherwise it would be like this all the
Yeah.
time.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, if
No, definitely gives a bit of dynamic, having a building up to a crescendo at the end, you know.
But it doesn't have to be soft, but somehow.
Oh, that's easy. I can have a beer and a cigarette while I'm doing that stuff.
Sure. You have one hand free.
Yeah.
and the third one it's full noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Good.
No, this is, you know, if you just sit there and look good, you know, no, we want input, sure.
Because I don't do that, I have to come here and focus. Play the whole song again and try.
Okay.
We don't have anything to lose. If it's not good, then we skip it.
No, it's good to try. It's good to experiment. Sure. I totally agree with you.
It gets a little bit disco pop rock, but still not at all. And everybody just, I think it would be easier for people to follow as well. Because I like that.
Okay, let's see the
And now when he starts singing, skip the snare. Just play the same pattern, I think. So in the intro like you did now, it's great. And then when he starts singing, just skip the snare drum. Go, 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 for the
I'll
first
start
verse.
singing it and try out what he's saying.
No, I'm lost with that one.
Now, like the intro now, you play like the intro. You start like... Try without the snare on the verse. Just hi-hat and kick for fun. We just try.
Okay.
No, in the beginning intro you play like you did. And then when
You want the punch up on the... You just want better.
just skip the snare and keep that.
No, but I can skip the snare, but then I can do some stuff on
You're the drummer. Do what you
okay,
But I think you had that pulse.
Thank
Sometimes we do that.
for the recording, I think. that would be-
Yeah.
Sure.
How does that feel?
A little bit strange, eliminating the snare, but
But we can build on it.
I'll get my head around it, no problem.
We can build on that. I mean, but I think it's important to have that bass drum 4 bars on the beat for this song.
Should we try it again?
And like when you come to the second verse, I really feel that you want to hit the snare, right? But it could also be on the 4. Could be second verse or something like that.
What symbols are we Tom?
Toms.
Tom,
Yeah.
right, okay.
So you get so
Are you taking notes on this?
I don't change it.
I'll
Oh,
give
we
you-
got it on, right.
I'll give you my pen here. Wait.
Okay, so yeah, no, it's good that we run over the songs and then get another perspective,
Here, take that.
and then we can run over with it. We don't need to do it now. We can run over.
This one has voice back.
Huh?
But also, hey guys, you have this as well. So you have your
Yeah,
notes.
yeah,
You have your
okay.
notes here.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. We run over all the songs and then you can
Yeah.
input bits that you think.
And Nathan, keep this
And then
to
we can work
yourself.
on it.
Don't post this. Just keep it for yourself.
Okay, this is so
Well, we've got a lot of songs to go through. What we're saying, well, maybe,
Yeah, continue. But I mean,
you know, if we get the concept of ideas and then we can run over it ourselves anytime.
and you have it here as well. So no,
Yeah.
but I'm
It's just getting my brain to switch off and the snare and stuff.
yeah, I understand.
Because obviously I've been playing the song a certain way for a long time.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
to
I
change
hear you.
it, it's fucking my brain a wee bit.
yeah, the real
Can I
try.
put it on pause?
Yeah, well, quick little drink and see.
But this room needs dampening in the roof or the walls and stuff like that. That's why the drums stay just transport. But the good thing here with this room is that it's not straight walls here. That's very good. And you have these things sort of dividing off. That also breaks off the sound. Okay, so timbales. Okay. Now let's see. No thanks, but do you have some water or the small beer? Which one was this? It looks like that. Yeah, this. Nothing could change in this one. Is this? Did we turn this on?
And then so I can
Yeah.
hear it.
That one gets a tick, Rolf, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take the next one then.
best.
There's a photo of me on the microphone.
Let me get it. I get it very. I use. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, next
You
song.
might
Please.
try some timbales for the. If you're looking for that kind of thing, just to try it.
A wee bit limited with
Yeah.
this way. I don't know. because it's moving on to them.
Yeah, I just thought just to try and get the sound. The wooden ones are better. The sound of that wood, I can hear it.
The
The wooden stuff.
wooden stuff.
Yeah, you're talking about that.
Oh yeah, that would be much easier
Yeah,
because
it sounded too.
we're going down to
Rayon.
Rayong. They've got probably the best drum shop in Thailand.
Oh.
The owner used to be a drummer in a big Thai band or whatever. But we looked at the pictures, absolutely everything. So we're going to go take a trip there either towards the end of this week or beginning of next and look at some props like, you know, like the wooden block things, because this type of song,
Yeah.
good to add some of that in, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go down there and see what they got and then maybe add that to the whole thing.
That was yeah. Blue Murder.
You know, I had a little idea.
Yeah.
There is a Boss pedal called OC5 where you can actually set like the two notes, B and A string,
Yeah.
but it will add a bass note to it,
Gotcha.
and the rest will be free. Maybe do something
Look
with
at
it.
one. I see five, right?
OC5.
Okay.
I have the old OC2,
Yeah.
which is, I use it like a basic
Yeah.
bass, depending on your or an octave. But with the OC5, I just thought about that when you were playing. I have a friend in Sweden. They're also two, but they play acoustic and drums or component especially. And he uses that. And he gets like the biggest solo.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. Oh, see, 5.
Boss OC5.
Black sheep.
I mean, these songs, they are what they are. It was just those songs in the beginning that I thought about with some ideas. I think these are just what they are.
Oh, happy to look at anything, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't have any on this. Is what it is. So, take the next one.
This is called the black sheep.
Black sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
beautiful. There's an acoustic guitar there.
Yeah, I got
A tree one, but the Yamaha is beautiful.
What was the name of that one?
Voodoo.
Again?
Who do your voodoo?
Okay.
Not Voodoo Gurus.
No, not the hoodoo gurus. Voodoo voodoo.
That's from our house.
His next song is called The Drum Killer. It's about John. You want to try a little intro or not?
Oh yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna try something for the first time. Yeah? Because of the song.
Drum
I thought maybe it should have a drum intro as opposed to just into the song. But we've never done it before. And I haven't really thought about it, but let me think about it for a second. Can I have a joint before we do that?
Yeah, hang on, 1 minute, 1 minute.
I need a joint. I need to think. I don't even know what I'm doing, yeah?
Hang on. Try tapping that one.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah, never done it, but anyway, I think it's some sort of beat out. Like this.
Yeah.
We might need to, we might need to tweak on where I finish and you come in, but anyway, we'll get to the general gesture thing with it. So, yeah. I don't know about the intro, I just so improvised.
Maybe for an album, and maybe the drum intro should be maybe a little bit shorter.
Shorter, easy.
Yeah, for
So yeah, so I'm doing this beat.